Truly fantastic turnout, brethren. Good evening to you all, and thank you very much indeed for joining us on what I think is quite a significant evening, and I hope you'll agree with me by the time I've finished. We are launching tonight a campaign which we are calling Staying Engaged. And the whole purpose of Staying Engaged is not to replace what else is going on, which is truly fantastic, but to actually offer us all as Freemasons something to get our teeth into. So what Staying Engaged will not do, we won't have any quizzes, we won't have banter about how many times we've stroked the cat or mowed the garden, because that's going on extremely well as you keep in touch with your lodge members in other areas. And I cannot tell you how impressed I and the executive are with all that you're doing in that corner. It truly is fantastic. We must keep that going. It is so, so essential. The banter is brilliant. The light-hearted nature, the looking after each other, the keeping in touch with each other is truly, truly, well, it's awe-inspiring, and I'm very proud of it. Very proud of you. I'm also very proud with the way we're keeping in touch with our In Touch magazine. And I will praise Peter Manning and the rest of the exec for the way that that's coming together. Brethren, I don't know whether you realize it, but we've been doing In Touch now since the first week of lockdown. And it's proving so successful. It's going out to many, many other provinces, Cumberland and Westmoreland, Durham. It's going all over the place, and they love it. And you've probably got in your mailbox this morning, First Rising, which is the UGLE carbon copy of In Touch. And so that's the greatest flattery we can have, brethren, that UGLE have put out a very, very good document this morning, in fairness to them. But our In Touch magazine going out weekly will continue, and that will still be the same sort of vehicle. So what on earth is Staying Engaged then? Well, unfortunately for my Deputy Provincial Grand Master and the rest of my Assistant Provincial Grand Masters, I've got a lot of thinking time at the moment. And I keep coming up with ideas, some of which they can haul me back on and some of which they can't. But the desperate absence of anything at all in my diary is not only perturbing me, but it's worrying Sandra sick. She's never seen so much of me. And to actually have something regular in the diary and to get a little bit more out of Freemasonry was my aim. I wanted to have a regular commitment that we're used to, and I wanted us to do something that we can all get something out of. Well, that's a vast undertaking, really, because we all get different things out of Freemasonry, and the camaraderie and the support for those less fortunate than ourselves is paramount. And we're doing that already. I've said that, I've praised that. That's not what I'm talking about. I absolutely love my Masonic ritual. I'm missing it like crazy. Some of you across the screen may be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not missing that at all. I'm not missing the pressure of that. And that's what I'm saying. We're getting different things from Freemasonry. So I wanted to provide a vehicle within the province on a regular basis to give us all something to think about, to give us all something to get our teeth into. And well, if you've seen a picture of our Deputy Provincial Grand Master, he's gone grey at the very thought of putting this program together, because I'm sure his first thought was, he's had too many gin and tonics, but the PGM will be all right tomorrow. We'll just leave this over this evening and it'll go away. Well, unfortunately, it didn't go away, and it's developed now into a program of which I'm enormously proud, and I know you will get something from. So how are we going to do it, and what's its purpose? Well, how we're going to do it is through a Zoom platform. We are going to have a series of presentations or seminars or video clips or whatever. They will be informative, they will be instructive, they will be helpful, and they will be taxing. The whole idea is to make us think at the end of it and probably we'll have question and answer sessions at the end of them. They will never be more than 40 minutes, ever. My aim to the people presenting the program has been that it should be 20 to 30 minutes, not 30 to 40 minutes. So we're going to use the normal Zoom time frame. So it's going to be short, it's going to be sweet, and it's going to be informative. But it has to be regular. And the Deputy PGM came up with what I think is quite brilliant. Yes, Deputy PGM came up with a brilliant idea. Please make a note in your diaries, brethren, that this month we'll do it every Monday. Next month, we'll do it every Tuesday. August, we'll do it every Wednesday, and so on. And so that way, where we know which month it is, and how will you know what's coming on? Well, In Touch will tell us what the program is, both for the month and for the next week. So the whole idea then was, right, we've got a program, we've got a way of presenting it, who's going to present it, and what's going to be the content? Well, who's going to present it? The team that are putting this together, the Deputy Provincial Grand Master's in charge of it. He's got a team of assistant Provincial Grand Masters, all extremely talented and intelligent Masons with great skills and great knowledge. But across this province, we've got a vast field of expert Freemasons, which we're going to draw on. And they are going to be ambassadors to the lead group, and they are going to perform for us from things like the General Lodge of Instruction, the Provincial Mentor, the Provincial Orator, and so on and so forth. You can get a feel for the program that we're actually talking about doing. And so the title of next week's is Acting Provincial Officers, and that will be done by the Provincial Grand Secretary, because he does this seminar each and every year for the acting provincial officers. So why should David Edge in sunny Lichfield even be interested in what on earth acting officers do? Well, you might not be. You might not be. There's no compulsion to tune in next Monday or any Monday. There's no compulsion with this. You're not going to be marked out of 10, and there's going to be no record about it. If you're free, if you're interested, then it's going to be available. But I think you will be interested. I think you will be interested, whatever your age in Masonic terms. I'm talking about your journey through Freemasonry, to find out what acting officers currently do, because it has changed. It has changed enormously. And to listen to the way we prepare them, the way the Provincial Grand Secretary prepares them and inspires them and shows them what they're going to do, is quite inspirational and has useful knock-on effects for you within your lodges, because we could all better prepare our lodge members for the roles that they're taking on. So even if it's a little left field, the presentation, I feel you might pick up something, even if it's just an interest, and it's getting you out of the way of watching EastEnders or The One Show or whatever else is drowning your evening at the time. Getting you, well, I won't say any more because I don't know where Sandra is at the moment, but you've got my drift there, brethren. A regular commitment on a Monday evening is to be appreciated, certainly from me. The second thing is building up a base of information which we can all draw on. I think we are all aware of Solomon. How many of us use it? Well, one of the sessions is going to be on how to use Solomon. And I firmly believe that once people start dabbling in Solomon, we will have an awful lot more than one session on Solomon, because it is just an amazing resource that we really can't get enough of, and yet we're not using it as much as we could or we should. This all developed within me because when we do start, and when we do start back, I mean, it's going to be a completely different world Masonically that we go into. We're going to have to have our meetings arranged in a different way. And indeed, in First Rising this morning, there was some indication of the planning that UGLE are putting together for when we do come back. Rest assured that we in Warwickshire are already way down that avenue, that when we do come back, when we are allowed to come back, we will have a plan in place, but we will not necessarily be able to do our ceremonies. So this program that we are putting out available for you between now and whenever we do come back is to enable us to have a huge raft of material to enable our lodge meetings to be informative, well structured, and able to keep all of those from very junior Freemasons to possible Freemasons. And let's remember that we've currently got 36 possible applications for Freemasonry that David Stanford is currently processing and keeping on board. So he's having regular contact with them, and we want to give them some information as well. So we're stretching all the way from very junior Freemasons and those who aren't yet Freemasons to senior past masters. And the idea of staying engaged is to give you all something meaty, something challenging, and something that you would get when we meet together to go away and scratch your head. Of course, it's not going to be a substitute for a ceremony. I would never, ever want to do that. But it's giving us something which is a little more esoteric than we're getting from the contact that we're getting with others at the moment. Now you can say, well, come on, I've got the discipline to actually still learn my ritual. Well, I haven't, you see. I really haven't. I'm a very indisciplined person. And if I haven't got the need to learn this ceremony for next week, I'll put it off until the morning of next week. And so giving us this structure, I heavily need that structure, and I think a lot of our members do, then giving us something that we can participate in, I firmly believe will keep us all interested, will keep us all engaged, and we will be far the better for it when we come back. Now, it may well be that the program, as it develops, is something screaming at you that you don't feel we are covering or you would like to have covered again in more detail. Well, if that's the case, or if you've got any questions at all, it's your program. It really is your program. I really do mean that. So you get in touch directly with the Deputy Provincial Grand Master who's controlling it, or any one of the APGMs, or any one of the ambassadors, but it goes through APGM straight to Chris Rogers. And he will take on board and he will get back to you and he will politely say, no way. Or he will politely say, oh, that's a good idea. But he will get in touch with you. And we do want this to be your program. We are manufacturing a program, but it's not a manufacturing just shooting from the hip. It's one which we know that Warwickshire is ready for, which we know that Warwickshire is doing or has done, and which we can develop as we move through the future. It is rather revolutionary. We are putting ourselves just out there just a little bit, and I'm not worried about that at all. I never have been. We are a very progressive province. This is something that I know senior past masters need, and I know very keen ritualists need, and I know that we can adapt to each and every one of us. So why not go out that little bit further? Why not have an initiative that is that little bit special? We are Warwickshire when all's said and done, and we had it within touch, and other people are copying it. Well, let's try it with this. Not to be copied. I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in keeping Warwickshire Freemasons engaged at a time where most of you are nearly half as frustrated as me because I'm missing this like crazy. So in order to put that right, we want to put some structure together which will help, which will be of interest, and which will enable you to go away from that session and say, well, that was interesting. I think I better get my book out. Or that was interesting. I'll go and have a look at Solomon. Or I didn't realize this, or I didn't realize that. And it will be something Masonic to hang your hat on that week. And equally, it's one way of saying, oh, I can't do that tonight because Monday night is Zoom night for Warwickshire Freemasonry, and next month, Tuesday night, and so on. I really have not got a great deal more to say. If I attempted to take questions from 239 people, I think I'd be here till 11 o'clock and I wouldn't really be able to answer all your questions. All I'm going to do is to ask the Deputy Provincial Grand Master to give you his contact details and add anything that he feels I've missed. But if you have got any questions, he will answer them, preferably by email, or any of the chains. They will answer them. Don't direct them to me because I know nothing, brethren. I just ask people to do things. They are the ones to ask the questions of. So before Chris will hand back to me for a closing statement. But Chris, have you got anything to add, please?
I have actually very little to add, Provincial Grand Master, other than to say you've done an absolutely superb job, an erudite explanation of what this is all about. In Touch is your vehicle. All the details you need to know are in touch. My email address is in touch. The people who are on the exec you already know. The people who are on the advisory board has been outlined in touch. So that's your main channel to keep you informed as to what's going on. However, we are also having a staying engaged dedicated portal on our website. Again, the information is in touch as to how you access that portal, and that again will support everything we're doing. You'll be able to go on there, find out what's going on, when it's going on. And most important of all, if you miss something and you're quite interested in it, the session will be recorded and will appear on that portal, as to any information being used by the presenters. But the Provincial Grand Master said it's a program for everybody in Warwickshire, for all Warwickshire Masons. So if there are things that you want included or you feel are important or aren't being, this is a 6-month program. We've got it planned from June to November, and we're assuming that we'll be back to at least some sort of normality by November. However, the program has planned for that length of time. So it's not just a couple of months. This is a long-term, serious Masonic Warwickshire project. So contribute. If there's stuff you want, what I would say is that what it isn't is simply a rehash of what lodges are doing individually. Provincial Grand Master said that was very important, and I would support that entirely. My own lodge and chapter are doing the social contact bit. This is not that. So if you're going to suggest anything which is more appropriate to a lodge Zoom meeting, please don't. Well, you can suggest it, but as the Provincial Grand Master said, I'd probably reply very, very politely and say I would suggest that you deal with that at a lodge level. So please remember that this is a provincial program, and we're relying on you chaps, both to all 241 of you now. Actually, we're relying on almost 3,000 of you. I don't know where the other 3,400 are, but I presume that they're somewhere. They probably couldn't get in. So there's 3,400 of us floating around somewhere in the ether. But the 241 of us that are now here are the key influencers of this province. If we weren't, you wouldn't be here. So please, let us know what you think of the program. Let us know as time goes on what you think of the website. Let us know what ideas you have. Feed them through me or feed them through any of the exec. But that's very important. It's been wonderful to see so many people here today. Absolutely amazing. We had no idea whatsoever what the turnout was going to be tonight. It's been absolutely astronomical, and I think the Provincial Grand Master can be extraordinarily pleased with what happens tonight. And on that note, let me pass back to David Macy.
Thank you, Chris. Brethren, we are going to reach every Mason in Warwickshire. We've got a very fantastic turnout of interested Masons this evening, and I thank you for coming. We are going to develop a program for those less interested in our lodges. We are going to get to those people, those parts of Freemasonry that other parts cannot reach. We are going to do it. We are energized to provide you with something exciting, because Warwickshire Freemasonry is exciting. We all are very, very proud of it, and we're going to show you over these next 6 months just how proud we are. And brethren, we will give you something that's worth putting in your diaries on a Monday evening, Tuesday next month, etc., etc. And it will be worth missing the one show for, I can absolutely guarantee it. Mind you, so is that blank wall behind me. But nonetheless, we will get you something that really will engage you, just like our normal commitment in our normal diary is. Thank you, Ian Slessor, for setting this up this evening. Brethren all, thank you very much indeed for attending. This is a short meeting, but I've no intention of dragging any of these sessions on longer than they should be. The message, I hope, is loud and clear. This is a program for you, to tax you, to energize you, to enthuse you, to make you think. And we are going to give you something which I know you'll enjoy. And with your help, it can just get better and better, just like In Touch has done. So, brethren, thank you very much. Go out now and enjoy the rest of the sunshine, and I hope you have a splendid week.